So tell us, Susanna, about the weight you lost in Spice Yourself Skinny and any other changes that happened.
Yeah. Well, I ended up losing 10 pounds over the course of the 8 weeks, which is great. Yeah. And I think that that's probably the most that I've ever lost in a program, because most of the programs, like you had mentioned in your introduction to your program, most of the programs have really boring, when they were really boring when it comes to food. And I would just get so bored and fall off the wagon. So yeah, I just, that was a huge success for me, given the fact that I was doing a startup and ran into having to put out some fires with some of my stuff in my business, and basically wasn't able to meal prep as much as I could have in the last half of the 8 weeks. But what I did was I stayed within the framework of the program, and I stayed within the principles of like the spices and things like that. And I applied that with takeout food. So I would get takeout food within the parameters. And so I was able to keep it within that 10 pounds. So I probably would have lost more than that had I been like right on. But just the fact that it's one of those programs that is not so stringent that you feel like you have to be perfect to see results. That's one thing that I really loved about it as well.
Oh gosh, absolutely. It's like sometimes we feel like, oh, can we just take 8 weeks out of our life and just go lose weight and then just like come back,
Like at a resort somewhere.
Yeah, like go to a resort and just be like this boot camp for 8 weeks. Then that would solve all our problems. We'll just be like the newer me. But then, we have kids, we have
life happening.
Yes. So you can't it's like you can't just run away and lose the weight. You actually have to figure out how to do it in your real life. And I love how you said that, you would get takeout, because that's what happens. I mean, yes, you have an urgent situation, a fire drill in your entrepreneurial, business, then you have to just like make do, but you absolutely can be healthy when you know what to order and like how to look at what you're eating. So,
right.
So, and 10 pounds in 8 weeks is like really, really great. So tell me, okay, now Susanna, well, first tell me what your favorite spice is. Like, what's your favorite spice and what do you use it on?
Yes. Well, I do love turmeric in general. I think I had probably two answers to that question. I do love turmeric in general, just for how it has helped with inflammation. Cumin, I actually make eggs, almost every day, where I add turmeric and cumin to it, onions, and then use that in my eggs. I think one of the newer spices, not new to me, but just the fact that I didn't use to use it, is cayenne or red pepper. I used to always have this mindset toward it, like it's too spicy for me. And I think my body just acclimated to it. And like this morning I had coffee, I had stevia and cinnamon and red chili pepper.
Oh, wow. Wow, you're just like
kicking the pants to start the day, So I was up till almost 2 in the morning working on my business, and then I was like, oh crap, I have this video interview and I'm gonna look so tired and I feel bloated and blah blah blah. So I started my day this morning with that. But yeah, so the cayenne pepper has kind of surprised me with how much it's actually not as hot as I thought, or my body's just acclimated to it.
Yeah.
So that would be probably my favorites there.
Oh, wow. What a surprise. Because it's like a new addition to your life. And it's true. It's, and the thing is like the other spices you mentioned, turmeric and cumin, they're not spicy at all. I mean, they're completely mild.
Flavor.
Yeah, their flavor, and then they have the benefits, like turmeric helps decrease inflammation, it helps block fat formation, and cumin actually helps decrease belly fat, like in fat in general, but focuses on the belly. So, and then when you add cayenne pepper, it increases your metabolism, and like you might even see it decreases your appetite. So that's kind of awesome,
Yeah.
And so, okay. So I know that you have used spices like even growing up, and a question that I get often is, if you use spices when you were growing up and you didn't lose weight then, why would it work? Why would it work now? If you've already known about spices. So tell me kind of what your thoughts are, because you grew up with spices, but now you lost 10 pounds eating the spices with your food. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd love to. So just a little background on that. So about 10 months ago, this whole side of my face actually went paralyzed. I had a condition where this whole side went paralyzed. And using mindset and faith, I basically was able to regain. The neurologist told me I would only expect to get 50% of my function back, and that 80% of my nerves were damaged. So I was able to, using, like I said, using mindset and faith, recovered almost about 90% of my face back, and there was still a lot of inflammation in this area. And the neurologist confirmed that my nerves had actually regenerated. So the power of our bodies and the power of our minds, power of faith. So that is a little background on what I was coming into Spice Yourself Skinny with. And I was, so the first 2 weeks of Spice Yourself Skinny is the detox weeks. And I noticed within those first 2 weeks that the work that I was doing prior in regards to my healthy eating had already been happening. But during those first 2 weeks, given that it was a focused time and the certain foods and a certain timing, I think is key too, of those foods, I noticed the inflammation of my face going way down, which I was super excited about, because I was trying all these other things in the natural, like with what I was eating and other things to bring down the inflammation. So that was exciting to me. And I'm continuing to see more of that come down. So I'm excited for more of that. Yeah. So I think to answer your question directly, I think the timing of the foods, and then the specific foods that we're eating. And I think especially as an Indian, like, chapatis, or like, eating wheat or rice, like eating that frequently can tend to put on inflammation. Even though I was doing more gluten-free foods, because I noticed that gluten would add inflammation, to my body. I noticed that even just removing some of those items and eating more substantial foods, vegetables like the broccoli and the quinoa and things like that, the substantive foods like that would help to satiate the hunger while, keeping your body free and clear from those sugar creating carbs.
Yes, totally. Yes. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like, it's a blend, like the spices actually do work on your body. You can see that. And the thing about like reducing inflammation, it's like it brings your face down. It's like sometimes we have a puffiness, and it's not because you necessarily have extra fat. It's like you just have to like bring your face down. Yeah. And then when you take pictures, it looks so different. Like when you have a thinner face, everything looks nicer, and it's like the start, So I love that you got that right in the first 2 weeks. And it is a combination of those spices with the foods. Like we're not eating like mint and ice cream every day, though we do have, we do have our cheat day once a week where you can eat whatever you want, but you're eating it with wholesome, real foods, and that like match, it just like melts away. So, okay. So one more.
I have to tell you too, my neighbor was telling me, she's like, I walked out the door and I saw her outside, and she's like, I had to do a double take. I didn't even recognize you. She's like, you lost weight. So that made my day, for real.
Yes, that your neighbor noticed that. I love that. Yes, that totally would make your day. See that. Yeah. So now you have something like big coming up, right? That you kind of, the reason that you joined Spice Yourself Skinny, like tell me what kind of got you to say, look, I'm joining.
Yes. So on the 7th of May is my 40th birthday.
I wouldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Thank you. So I joined it because I really wanted to take that into my own hands, and I just had my third baby less than a year ago, and wanted to lose some of that baby fat, and in the entrepreneurial community, it can often happen, not every time, but it can often happen where we gain weight because we're sitting and working on our laptops. You know what I'm saying? So we're sitting for a long period of time. So I thought, well, why should I automatically just say, oh yeah, I guess I'm going to gain weight, or I guess I'm not going to lose weight. Instead, I made it a goal. No, I want to lose weight, even though I'm doing that right now in my career. And even though I'm going to be 40, like it's all about your mindset, you know? So I just made that a goal that I wanted to start losing. And, you know, so far 10 pounds is a step towards that direction. I still have more that I want to lose. And I already started up again with Spice Yourself Skinny on my own before you started your program again. Can't have too much, ladies. So, yeah. So, and I was telling Nagina, this is not my prop. This is my actual breakfast right now.
What is it? What's in there? What smoothie is that?
Well, I actually found at Costco, they have these bags that have prepackaged kale already frozen and prepackaged mango and pineapple with cayenne already. I was like,
oh, wow.
I love you. I know. So I just threw in 2 of those bags, and then again, finding those little shortcuts that, you know, this is organic food, it's already frozen and packaged. So those kind of things really help. And then I added chia seeds, half an avocado, yeah, and some protein in there as well, protein powder. So yeah.
Perfect. Definitely is an SYS smoothie. Good job finding that package. Awesome. Yes. Like, we want to make it as easy for us as possible. That is great.
Gotta do it.
Yes. Okay. So Susanna, I have one more question. Tell me, what was the most surprising thing for you about Spice Yourself Skinny?
Let's see. I love the flavorful foods, and I also I want to add a comment on this too. I love the community of the women just cheering each other on, because sometimes it can feel like when you see one person lose X number of pounds or kgs, and you're like, oh, how did she lose that or whatever? You know, sometimes it can be, you know, disheartening when you're comparing yourself, right? We know that that's always not a good place to go in our minds. But just having someone share their small success, whatever it was, and knowing that there's women that are going to celebrate that with you, that creates a momentum that I think is a huge part of the program. It's a huge part of the program. You're not in this alone. You're doing it with a community of women that are celebrating your success, that are you know, helping to answer questions, or like, oh, hey, I found the shortcut, like I mentioned with the, you know, with the Costco bag, you know, things like that, because we're all in it together. And I think that just that, you know, women are made for a relationship. And I just think that connection really helped to jumpstart some of that weight loss too. Yeah. So I think, you know, I wasn't necessarily surprised by it, but I think it was just a nice added pleasant benefit, you know, to see how supportive everybody was.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for saying that. Our sisterhood is really special and really important, that you're not like, there could be like, I could just send out recipes, you know, and, you know, you take a look at them, but that's like a really lower rate that people are actually going to lose weight. So when you have that community, it's accountability, it's encouragement, it makes such a difference, and it makes it fun. And that's key. So,
and no matter how much you lose, you know, like somebody's celebrating. Somebody's celebrating that with you. Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Well, thanks so much, Susanna. Thank you for being here. I'm going to let you enjoy your smoothie now. It looks delicious.
Thank you, Nagina, for putting all this together, for taking the time, for pioneering that. Really, really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome.